Pay attention. A car driving normally suddenly, while rounding a curve, crashed into a large tree on the front right. Along with the violent shaking of the surveillance footage and scattered leaves, the car bounced back from the huge impact. After a 360-degree flip in place, it fell heavily to the ground. During this time, a passenger from inside the car was flung out the rear window. After several rolls, it slid to the side of the road. Meanwhile, the car finally came to a complete stop. Thick black smoke quickly billowed from the front of the car. The street fell into an endless silence and darkness again. People inside and outside the car seemed to be asleep. The silence was chilling. After 2 minutes of the life and death crisis, passers-by discovered this thrilling scene. Meanwhile, the smoking front of the car suddenly burst into flames. The sky was filled with red flames, instantly illuminating the quiet, black streets of the early morning. It looked like the people inside the car were about to be consumed by the fire. A man quickly dialed the emergency number. Everyone was stunned by the scene before them. No one dared to rush forward to the rescue, because if they weren't careful, the fuel tank could leak and explode. At this moment, no one knew if there were still people trapped inside the car. And the passenger who had been thrown out was also unconscious. Couldn't get anything out of it. Just as everyone was hesitating whether to go forward to check, a cry for help came from the driver's seat inside the car. Then a man staggered out of the driver's seat. Then he came to the car, trying to open the front passenger door. But how could the deformed door be easily opened? He sat down on the ground in despair, his heart like dead ashes, watching as the fire was about to engulf the car. If left unchecked, the people in the car will certainly die. After much mental struggle, the person who called the police, Master Wang, rushed into the fire without hesitation. After forcing open the rear of the car, he quickly pulled out a severely comatose passenger from the back. After confirming that there were still people trapped in the front passenger seat, he turned back to rescue them again. However, no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't open the door. Seeing that Master Wang was already exhausted, a young man from the crowd also joined the rescue. Just as everyone was risking their safety to rescue, the driver, who had escaped the fire, quietly slipped away, facing a door handle of over 90 degrees Celsius. He still pulled it without hesitation. His hand was instantly burned black, blistering, risking an explosion at any moment. The young man crawled into the back seat again to rescue people, but the increasingly fierce flames really made him feel scared. I was a little scared at first, because the fire was getting bigger and bigger. Going in, I was afraid the car would explode. The young man's frail body couldn't budge the front passenger at all. Under the persuasion of his friend, the young man was starting to back down. But the strong desire to survive of the passengers inside the car moved the young man deeply. So he rushed into the fire again. He successfully dragged him out with his frail body. I said if I hadn't gone back in and saved him, he would have burned to death right here. I just wonder what my mental state will be like from now on. After learning about it, the rescuer, Master Wang, is a security guard nearby, and the young man is a barber in a barber shop. It was precisely their selfless acts of rescue that saved the lives of those trapped. Their ordinary positions have created extraordinary heroic deeds. After the injured were sent to the hospital, people couldn't help but wonder, the one who caused this series of shocking events, after escaping the fire, why he quietly ran away. His behavior was truly perplexing. The next day, the traffic police department welcomed a man covered in scars. He was the driver, Mr. Qian, who had sneaked away. It turned out that on the day of the incident, Mr. Qian had drunk a lot of baijiu. In order to show off his driving skills in front of his friends, he made the fateful decision to drink and drive. When the car accident happened, his girlfriend was sitting in the front passenger seat. The man and woman in the back row. The two were also a couple. The four of them usually got along very well. They even shared an apartment together in the city. Before the accident, they were drinking and chatting in a bar. Mr. Chien, after drinking, was unusually excited on the way back. He kept turning his head to chat with his friends in the back. When he looked back, the accident was unavoidable. Later, Mr. Chien was detained by the traffic police for suspected hit and run. He was legally detained by the traffic police. What awaits him is a life of darkness in prison. Still, that saying, "There are many roads," safety is the first thing to pay attention to. Look at the menacing blue truck in front of us. It had just experienced a large and bloody car accident. The accident occurred on the second ring road in Tangshan City, Hebei Province. The scene of the accident was simply shocking. Semi-trailer fragments were mixed with truck fragments, mixed with steaming bloodstains. This made even the traffic police, who have a 90% dispatch rate, feel a wave of nausea. The semi-trailer went across the road and was straddling the ditch. The front of the car was severely deformed. It was hard to recognize its former appearance. The bumper lay forlornly to one side, like an abandoned child. The blue truck's door, with a ferocious face, was baring its teeth and claws, as if shouting about its previous great achievements. The glass of the windows on both sides was completely shattered. It gave the impression of being willing to damage itself 800 to hurt the enemy 1000. Just as the traffic police were examining the scene, the hospital suddenly announced bad news. The truck driver, due to severe traumatic brain injury, despite the medical staff's all-out efforts to save him. But still, they couldn't save that vibrant life. Then the traffic police found the semi-trailer driver to understand the situation. According to Mr. Liu, the semi-trailer driver, he was originally driving normally on the road. The blue truck suddenly darted out from the intersection, leaving him no time to avoid it. The tragedy thus occurred. Unclear, likely a misinterpretation of the original statement. Cannot translate. In order to verify the truth of Mr. Liu's statement, the traffic police immediately retrieved the monitoring footage of the incident. The semi-trailer was traveling at 180 kilometers per hour on the road and despising the blue truck, trying to cross 3 lanes from a U-turn to reach the other side of the road. Unexpectedly, the speed of the semi-trailer was too fast, and under the effect of huge inertia, it still collided violently with the blue truck. The truck instantly staged a thrilling scene of a large magic spin. The truck driver, Mr. Wang, was also thrown out of the car by the huge impact. He fell heavily to the ground. The semi-trailer plunged into a ditch beside the road. So, the question is, both were involved in the same accident. Why were the outcomes so different? The traffic police investigation later revealed that both had their seatbelts fastened at the time of the accident. But they quickly discovered a clue. It turned out that the truck driver, Mr. Wang, wasn't actually wearing his seatbelt. To prevent the seatbelt from beeping, he cleverly inserted the buckle into the slot for a long time. It was precisely this behavior of his that led to the tragedy. His self-proclaimed cleverness actually cost him his life. In contrast, the semi-trailer driver, due to strictly wearing a seatbelt, only suffered minor injuries in the accident. There wasn't even a need for medical treatment. A completely different outcome. Truly makes people sigh with emotion. The Traffic Police Department soon issued a liability determination letter, because the semi-trailer driver, Mr. Liu, was driving a motor vehicle with safety hazards and was speeding. And the blue truck driver, Mr. Wang, also did not follow traffic signals. as well as failing to use a seatbelt as required. Both shared equal responsibility for the accident. A seatbelt is a life belt. Although wearing a seatbelt is a simple thing, but for the sake of life, it is still necessary to take it seriously. In the moment of the accident, it provides the greatest protection for the occupants.